US empire usually functions via plausible deniability, either denying the overthrow of a democratic government is in fact a coup by, for example, painting military rule as just temporary transition period to restore constitutional order, or
One, two. Okay, I can hear me. One, two. Mic test. Let's do this. Mic test. One, two. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Politics, Culture and Some Other Shit, the live stream. This live stream is going to go out on it's going to be a Patreon exclusive, because I have to do that, don't you know? Let me just fix something here. No, there we go. Boom, that's better. So this is going to be a Patreon exclusive. So that means the way it works is this stream goes out as a live stream, which is, it's open to the public and all that. But then it's taken down, that's it. And then it goes up on my Patreon. So if anybody's listening and it isn't doing the Patreon thing, you're more than welcome to come over there and join me. Us, there's a few of us. So welcome to the thing. Updates. Yeah, we had a great gig on Saturday night. So we played in the Deer's Head in Belfast, which is a great wee venue. I've been in the bar downstairs before, but I've never actually been in the music venue upstairs, and it's really good. Really like it. If you get a chance to go to the gig, it's a nice size, it's not too massive. So I liked it. And Rev Duffer was there, and he come and hung out with us for most of the night. It was great crack, and it was great to see him and everybody else, of course. So that was good. And then this Saturday we're playing down in Kilkenny, down at the Roots Fest. So that's good too. So me and Chris are going to drive down early, playing 2 gigs in 2 different venues as a part of that Kilkenny Roots Festival. I've never been. I don't know what to expect, but I'm looking forward to it. So there we go. I'll just type something into the thing here on YouTube. So, and I know I've started a wee bit early tonight. It's because there's a football match on later on that I really want to watch. Yeah. Boom. So there we go. Is that the thing? Where's my little thing? Why is my wee thing not going? Ah, fuck. Oh, I know what it is. Sorry, give me a second. Audio source. There we go. Boom. There we go. 1, 2. Okay. Good to go. So let's do this. Where am I? So yeah, I've got a good oh shit. Let me just move some stuff about. There we go. So I've got a good little podcast planned for you tonight. We're going to talk about, in no particular order, we're going to talk about the DUP, as usual, everybody's favourite shit show. And I think they've got Stockholm Syndrome. I do think they need to be medicated. They've got to the stage. And I'm going to run through some of their stuff right at the very end, just for a bit of a laugh, because they're easy to fucking laugh at. And then the big thing Well, it is a big thing, and I'll explain why it's a big thing. Elon Musk buys Twitter. I know what you're saying. I don't care about Twitter. It's not really so much about Twitter as it is about billionaires buying up the media landscape. But before we get to that, I'm going to get through a few little the shorties at the start. So that's what we're doing now, going forward, isn't it? So we'll do the wee shorties at the beginning. And yeah. Oh, and I'm very excited actually too, because this is my first live stream with my new sexy microphone. You hear me tapping it there. It's called an Aston Stealth. She's gorgeous. So let me just move a few bits around here on the screen. I've got literally 65 million fucking tabs open, and it's hard to kind of stay on top of them all. Oh, straight to the YouTube. Rev Duffer, great gig the other night, brother. A wee hand clap. Yes, it was. Thank you. It was great because you all were there. But I hope we did our bit. We hope you. Well, you did enjoy yourself. I know you did. You told me. So yeah, that was good. It was great to see you, must say. So listen, if anybody's watching this live, there's a few on there. There might be a few joins us as I move on. They have started this quite early tonight. Please comment. If you've got any opinion, let me know. I'm happy to read it out. In fact, I'm very glad to. Oh, just on that. So the updates. Yeah, so I didn't finish those. So I've got, I'm going to be interviewing a Sinn Féin candidate from down here in Upper Ban, Lurgan area. A guy called Liam Mackle. So I'm going to be interviewing him. Hopefully, well, I have to get in touch with him, basically. He's agreed to the thing, and he's given me his number, and I'm going to contact him. We're going to arrange that. And then I've got a great... I don't know if you do follow me on Twitter, you may know that I reached out about the collusion thing, the whole collusion between the British State Forces and the Loyalists. There's been a lot of that has... come to light through freedom of information requests and other things. And there was a book that's been released recently called UDR Declassified, which I haven't read, and it's kind of taken me by surprise. It's kind of shocked me how much of it has been going on. So I reached I think I'd like to talk to somebody about that. So I reached out, and somebody contacted me, and I'm going to be talking to them. So we're in communication via email at the minute. And this is basically their parents were victims, were murdered in front of them, and they're an ex-Republican prisoner and things like that. So I'm going to be talking to him, hopefully very soon, and I'll be able to share that with you. Yeah, so that's the updates. That's me updated. Right, let's do this. On to the shorties. So what is the first short? The first one I've got for you is... Now, check this out. Right? I'm going to read something out to you real quick, and I want you to tell me what you think. Or I want you, just from what year do you think this is, right? So, what would you like for dinner, sir? How about a pressed duck leg with caper terrine, celeriac and mustard remoulade and sourdough toast? Sounds delicious, doesn't it? £4.52. Or what if you're more of a seafood person? Pan-seared mackerel with heritage tomato, don't even know what that word is, elderflower gel, horseradish and charred cucumber, £4.52. Or if you're old school, traditional prawn cocktail with jam lettuce and brown bread and butter, £3.25. Now that's just the starters. Check out the mains here. This is a lovely menu. Let me see now. Rev's on, so we'll go for something. I know you're vegan, vegetarian, aren't you? So what about this for you, Rev? Roasted cauliflower, tarragon steaklet, with samphire and hazelnut pesto, pickled kohlrabi and aubergine baba ganoush. £7.33. That would do you for a main, wouldn't it? What about for the carnivores among you, of which I am one? Mini sirloin beef with mini steak and kidney pudding, roasted baby carrots, Savoy cabbage and potato terrine, £9.19. The vegetarian option, £7.33. Sounds delicious. From what year do you think that was? From what year do you think that was? That's from this year. And that is from the Houses of Parliament. I am not fucking joking. This is what those bastards are fucking feeding themselves. Oh, there's more. I mean, there's loads more. Slow cooked pork belly with pancetta, root vegetables, spelt crisp kale, salt baked swede, £8.45. That's. I mean, those are prices from the fucking 70s, and they get paid what? I mean, like 80 grand a year, 87 grand a year. Somebody tweeted underneath it, Tories refuse children's school meals when it could have been their only proper meal of the day. Then go and enjoy a subsidised quality dining experience whilst already receiving decent salaries. And they're able to claim that back on expenses. So not only are they 1970, Thomas Clark on YouTube here says 1970. Absolutely, that's what I would have thought. That is the current menu in the Houses of Commons. For the members, not for you or me, not for plebs that walk in off the street. Must be some waste with that variety. I bet you there is. Sure, waste isn't their concern, that's only ours. £7. Unbelievable. I mean, honest to God, did you ever see anything like it? That took my eye on Twitter during the week, among many other things, and it did genuinely shock me. I was kind of blown away. And as the responder to that tweet pointed out, they did vote against school meals for kids. And remember the cuts that they made then after the whole pandemic thing. Although it just seemed to magically go away. Who knew? So Thomas Clark, hi, thanks for joining me on the YouTubes, brother. Nice to see you. Virtually. So, second little shorty, right? Now, this is I got this one on, I'm pretty sure I got this on Reddit. It's another social media forumy thing, which isn't too bad. Not too bad at all. There it is, Reddit indeed. Just open that one up. It's actually a tweet, but someone copied and pasted it onto Reddit. Where do you hear this? It's nothing to do with the last thing. This is a completely different thing. It's a tweet from Raytheon. So Raytheon, the weapons manufacturer. Wait till you hear this. Raytheon. This is fucking unbelievable. Oh, I'm getting loads of sort of zippies in my ear here. What's going on? Let me see if I can stabilize the issue. 1, 2. Whatever. So from Raytheon, few people realise the RIM 7 Sea Sparrow is the most environmentally friendly anti-aircraft missile produced anywhere. We're proud of our commitment to a better future for all the children of the world. Do good things, be greener with Raytheon. Did you ever hear anything like that in your entire fucking life? I'll read that again. Few people realise the RIM 7 Sea Sparrow is the most environmentally friendly anti-aircraft missile produced anywhere in the world. We are proud of our commitment to a better future for all the children of the world. Do good things. Be greener with Raytheon Sea Sparrow anti-aircraft missiles. Did you ever hear anything as dystopian as that in fucking entire life? That's a real tweet from Raytheon. That's a blue tick account. That is legit. It's fucking staggering. It is. And this is, it reminds me of, I'm sure you've seen this as well, whenever we were talking about the, whenever Joe Biden got into power and all the bombers were going to have BLM stickers on their tail fin and rainbow flags on the fuselage of these big bombers dropping bombs on brown people. So that cartoon doing the rounds. That's what this is. It's called greenwashing. Most of you know this, I'm sure. But this is called greenwashing. The most environmentally friendly anti-aircraft missile produced. Somebody sat in a fucking office and wrote that. That's Raytheon Technologies. That's an official tweet. And you know you're through the looking glass whenever you see stuff like that. Oh, just staggering. It did genuinely blow me away when I saw that. But that's where we are. That's where we are. So, right. That's 2 of our shorties covered. So, right. So, Elon Musk. We're going to go straight to this because I've got loads of shit on this guy. Reverend Duffer on the YouTube. The bar too, apparently. Wonder how much a pint is in the House of Commons. But sure, it's even worse than that, is it not? Did not fucking find... They put sniffer dogs or something. They did tests for cocaine. And they found that all the toilets were all being used to do cocaine. In the place where they make the laws that makes it illegal for you to do cocaine. Unbelievable. Apparently, that bar is a fucking nightmare. They're in there getting fucking hammered all day long. And when you see the fucking state of some of them, that one's self-explanatory. Now, before we get into Elon Musk, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on what the problem is, or what started the problem. Although Twitter doesn't technically come under what used to be called the Telecommunications Act in America, because it doesn't. But this is what started it. And there's a thing called the Telecommunications Act of 1986, and it was Bill Clinton that overhauled it. And what it did was it allowed for monopolization. There used to be hundreds of telecommunications companies, and now there's only like 6, something like that, in the US. And one of the things I remember the first time I noticed it. I don't know if you ever have, where you're from. You know the billboards here in Ireland, and you see them, and look at the bottom of the billboard is the name of the company that owns the billboard. It's a company called Clear Channel. Now, they own all the fucking radio stations, and they're the big guy that does all this. They own all the American radio stations. So after Bill Clinton signed the Telecommunications Act in 1996, companies like Clear Channel were able then to go out and buy up all the regional television or radio stations, television channels, etc., and basically they monopolized to the point now that you've only got like 6 big companies owning them all. What used to be all these independent regional stations giving you their own different flavors, now you don't have that, and we don't have it here either. So this is where the start of it sort of begins, really. And although the rich and the ultra rich have always valued highly the means of control of telecommunications, print media, etc., etc. Well, this Musk thing is just another, a modern day extension of that, right? So, so here we go. So here's the Telecommunications Act of 1986 was the first significant overhaul of United States telecommunications law in more than 60 years, amending the Communications Act of 1934. So the act was put in order to stop monopolization, because under capitalism it moves towards monopolization, which is why you have to put in legislation to stop it. And if you don't put in the legislation, it monopolizes itself. That's the way it goes. And this is why the right and the capitalists want us to they put many resources into either the prevention of these laws to go into place, or the breakdown and rewriting of them to suit them, which is what this is. The act signed by President Clinton represented a major change in American telecommunications law, since it was the first time that the internet was included in broadcasting and spectrum allotment. So that's broadcasting spectrum allotment. According to the Federal Communications Commission, the goal of the law was to let anyone enter communications business, to let any communications business compete in any market against the other. The legislation's primary goal was deregulation on the coveraging of the converging broadcasting to telecommunications markets. However, the law's regulatory policies have since been questioned, including the effects of dualistic re-regulation of the communications market. I do not know what that means, but I'm not going to read you. This is all from Wikipedia. But here, the very final paragraph in Wikipedia should sort of explain in real terms that we can get our heads around what the damage looks like on the ground. The Telecommunications Act of 1996 impact on the music industry is still felt today by musicians and the general radio listening public. The legislation eliminated a cap on nationwide station ownership. So, the legislation eliminated a cap on nationwide station ownership and allowed an entity to own up to 4 stations in a single market. Within 5 years of being signed, radio station ownership dropped from approximately 5,100 owners to 3,800. Today, iHeartMedia, I think they are over here as well, is the largest corporation with 855 stations under its name across the nation. The Telecommunications Act was supposed to open the market to more and new radio station ownership. Instead, it created an opportunity for a media monopoly. Larger corporations could buy out smaller independent stations, which affected the diversity of music played on air. Instead of DJs and music directors having control of what is played, market researchers and consultants are handling the programming, which lessens the chance of independent artists and local talent being played on air. This is the primary reason so many artists on the air have the same sound. The Telecommunications 96 deregulation of the radio industry has had a negative impact on the public and musicians. It has promoted less competition and variety in programming. Okay, so we know that. How do we know that? Well, the same basic thing kind of happens over here too, because you wouldn't listen to the radio unless you were being fucking paid. It's all shite. Anytime I stick it on by mistake, and it is a mistake, you end up screaming. Back onto the YouTube here, demo. Oh, this is from a few minutes ago. The sniffer dogs must go mental when Michael Gove walks past them. I reckon so. He is. Did you see that footage of him off his fucking out of his trolley? I mean, that man was clearly fucking. I mean, he was clearly bombed. clearly bombed. Are we calling Musk's Twitter takeover Elon Gate? I swear to God, I had said that out loud before I got it. Very good. Sorry. Class. Sorry, stay with me. I'm just going to turn my microphone on and off here just to. It's sort of fizzing and clicking in my earphones. I just want to turn my device on. Boom, boom, back. Hopefully that sorted it out. I don't know, though. We'll find out in a second. No, it hasn't. It's still at it. Don't know what it is. You dodgy lead or something. Anyway, it doesn't seem to be too bad. So, okay. So here is, I'm going to read you a quick article from. So, my own personal opinion is about Musk buying Twitter is that it just represents another billionaire buying another property within the public space. Now, the journalism, and I know Twitter isn't journalism, but journalists self-aggrandize by calling them by self-labeling themselves as the fourth estate. The fourth estate is, somebody can help me out here. You've got the judiciary, the military, and the political people, and then you've got the I think that's the three, and then you've the fourth estate, which is the journalism, and they're the ones that are keeping the politicians honest, right? But if you end up with a load of billionaires that buy all the media, and they do, so for example, I've just showed you that I just read out to you the Telecommunications Act, where all the media, and you say, well, you know, disco, daytime pop radio isn't fucking the media. It is the media. It's a part of the whole thing. You end up diluting it down to, you've only a handful of news channels. Whenever a news channel says something that goes against the zeitgeist, or is different in some sort of a way, or considered to be dangerous, for example, it will get shut down. For example, as we've seen recently with RT, whether you agree with whatever your opinion on the Ukraine and the Russia thing is, the point is that RT, although funded by the Russian state, it was still a media broadcaster. My internet daddy, Chris Hedges, had his whole On Contact thing removed, his whole archive removed from YouTube, purely because of the fact that it was on RT. But as Chris Hedges says in his own language, in his own words, and he only ever mentioned Russia and Putin once or twice, and any time he did, he was criticising them. So what the point of taking that down? But it wasn't so much that they took down On Contact, they took down the RT completely, and you're getting a dilution of media. And the more you dilute the media, the more you monopolise the media landscape, the easier it is for one of these cats to come along and buy it up. So, for example, the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, world's other richest fucking asshole, space dick pilot, he bought the Washington Post, the failing Washington Post, as it has been failing for years, but all of a sudden it's emergency, and St. Jeffrey steps in. And ever since then, all we've had is a slew of pro-billionaire, anti-tax, anti-worker headlines that if you ask the journalists, they say, well, I wasn't told to write this, as Chomsky points out. He says, you don't need to be told. If you needed to be told, you wouldn't be there. You know what to say. You know what to do. So, plus you do have editors that write headlines, and they get told. So, here's a quick article by Aaron Bastani of Novara Media. This is on the Novara Media website. This is from the 25th of April, which is just the other day. And the headline is, Musk buying Twitter would be the defining deal of our era. And since the headline, we know that it's actually been approved. This is happening. So, I'm obsessed with the truth, Elon Musk told a packed Vancouver audience earlier this month. For the man who labelled Vernon Unsworth the cave diver who rescued 12 children in 2018, the pedo guy, do you remember that? For having the temerity to criticise his idea of using a mini submarine to save them, this felt like something of a stretch. Regardless, Musk certainly is obsessive and generally gets what he wants. Earlier this month, he lodged a bid to buy the social network Twitter at $54.20 a share, valuing the company at $43.4 billion. Just days earlier, the SpaceX and Tesla CEO revealed he had bought a 9.2% stake in the company, making him its largest shareholder. It remains a big if at the time, that was 2 days ago. Since then, he's bought it. If he does buy Twitter, he is on record saying he wants maximum number of shareholders permitted for a private company, rather than a crazed billionaire wanting to singularly reforge a global company. It seems he wants to gently steer it in a different direction, at least initially. We shall see. Billionaires buying assets in the media is nothing new, but while Lotharios like Rupert Murdoch, Silvio Berlusconi... Okay, this is... Can you hear that clipping? I can hear it in my headphones, so I don't know if it's my headphones or the mic. Or... There's like a wee electrical fizz. I hope I'm not going to die. You know what I'll do? I'll just turn a few of these things off. Don't need them anyway. Sorry about that. Right, so... Billionaires buying assets in the media is nothing new, but while Lotharios like Rupert Murdoch, Silvio Berlusconi and Robert Maxwell made their fortunes in publishing and news, the industry is increasingly a playing field for billionaires who make their fortunes elsewhere. Jeff Bezos has the Washington Post, John W. Henry the Boston Globe, Carlos Slim, the Mexican telecoms billionaire, is the largest shareholder in the New York Times. And in Britain, the Telegraph, Times, Mail, Independent and Evening Standard are all answerable to billionaire owners. So you can see there's a trend there, okay? Musk buying Twitter, however, would be a whole new level. The world's wealthiest person, whose personal value is presently more than $260 billion, more than the GDP of Portugal or New Zealand, would be the driving force behind a social network with hundreds of millions of monthly users, and which politicians from Donald Trump to Narendra Modi see as an essential part of their public image. Well, not Donald Trump anymore. He got kicked off it. If it goes through, Musk's purchase would arguably be the defining deal of our era, illustrating how the ultra-rich have more influence now than during the years of robber baron wealth at the twilight of the 19th century. That's some statement, isn't it? Indeed, such a purchase would have a near immediate political implication, namely Trump's return to the platform before next year's Republican primary. But Donald Trump has already said that he doesn't want to go back onto it. But then, Donald Trump wouldn't tell a lie, would he? Polling already suggests Trump would trounce both Biden and Kamala Harris in any runoff. With a favourable CEO at Twitter, this would only be more likely, as Musk has hinted at Trump's return to the platform, speaking of how he would like the company to be very reluctant to delete things, very cautious with permanent bans. Timeouts, I think, are better than permanent bans. While Musk's relationship with Trump was hardly plain sailing, he left the president's advisory group after the withdrawal of the US from the Paris Climate Agreement. Earlier this year, the Tesla CEO tweeted that Biden was a damp sock puppet in human form. Hardly controversial, I would say. With Biden, what did somebody call? I heard someone call Biden the wandering midnight resident of a retirement home. I thought that was a good one. With Biden promoting the likes of GM and Chrysler, Musk feels Tesla has been consistently overlooked by the man he views as a weak politician. Buying Twitter and allowing Trump to return to the platform would certainly be one way of getting the White House to show him more respect. For a long time, those in favour of deplatforming on social media have argued that private businesses don't have any duty to protect freedom of speech. And while it's true that denying someone a platform isn't the same as removing their right to express themselves, more nuance is needed if an ever wealthier billionaire class isn't only going to purchase newspapers, TV stations and websites, but the social media platforms that hundreds of millions of us use. Musk buying Twitter, even more than Jeff Bezos flying into space, would perhaps be the greatest statement of plutocratic intent in history. In a capitalist economy, money is power. The question is, how much of this are we willing to give to individuals if it undermines the voices of millions of others? Indeed, the rest of the 2020s will be a race to see whether liberal democracies can hold on as wealth is funneled from the poor to the rich. To achieve this and reverse stagnating living standards will require a new media. And I agree with that. Couldn't agree more. So there we go. So that's what you're looking at when it comes to the sort of money and what a billionaire can do with it. Now, Musk put up like half of that, with like 20 billion of that was his own cash reserves. That's insane. But, so, one of the things that everyone's asking, that no one has the answers to yet, is why is he buying it? We don't know. He says that he's going to... He's such a free speech advocate. He's prepared to dump 20 billion of his own money into this platform. It doesn't sound plausible to me. That to me, I always look, just follow the money. Look for the money. That's where you have to go. So I was looking at. I went on to I just Googled it and I found this little graph, and it reports stock prices, losses and gains, and put in Twitter, and here it came up. It's 2014, stock price $63.65, and it was end of the year 43% loss. 2015, $35 a share, and by the end of the year 35% loss. 2016 it was $23 a year, 29% loss. 2017 $16 a year and another, but it increased by 47%. So that's his first profit. 2018 it was $24 at 19% profit, 19% return gain, 19% gain. So that's a profit, right? That's yeah. I'm not the wrong person to ask, but I always point at the money. It made a profit of 11% in 2019, and in 2020 it made 68% of a profit. A lot of people are pointing out because that's when the pandemic started, so on and so forth. But by 21, they made a 20% drop again. It had lost. So it's a very precarious business to be making. To be trying to make money, but then Musk says he's not doing it to make money. I struggle with that. What do you think? I mean, demo here. Holy fuck, Musk has all that money, and Wayne Rooney still has a better hair transplant. I don't know, mate. Wayne Rooney's is pretty fucking rough. It's pretty rough, dude. Thomas Clark, Morgan Stanley may repo his car if he doesn't make payments. Well, they won't have to, because Morgan Stanley is one of the shareholders. Where do you hear this? So, because the largest shareholder is Vanguard Group, which recently upped its stake of the social media platform to push Musk out of the top spot. In addition to Vanguard, other top institutional investors include Morgan Stanley Investment Management and BlackRock Fund. What a charming bunch they are. So these vampires that Morgan Stanley were definitely one of the big ones that caused the 2008 crash, and are funders of every evil fucking evil individual on the planet. And BlackRock, they're the biggest. I think they're the biggest hedge fund in the world, aren't they, at the minute? And they're pure evil. They're the guys at the minute, they're buying up, over the pandemic, they're the ones that are buying up all the commercial retail stock, and they have invested absolute hundreds of billions in what's called single occupant homes, which is basically family, which is an investor word for family home, and they're buying them all up, which is contributing greatly to the homelessness crisis in America. So these are the people that already own Twitter, along with this cat. So I had to Google this cat by name, because when I Googled it and without his name, it didn't come up, so I had to search for his name. So Saudi Prince, who owns 5.2% of Twitter, refused to sell his shares after Elon Musk proposes to buy out the company. Right? So hours after Tesla CEO Elon Musk offered to buy 100% of shares of Twitter for a whopping $43 billion. And by the way, that was considered an absolute fucking fortune. No one thought he was going to go that high. The stock price was sitting at something like $30 or $40 a share, and he comes in with a fucking flying elbow off the top rope with a $55 offer per share. Saudi Arabian billionaire businessman Al-Wahid bin Talal refused to sell his stake. Now this is not the cat that I was thinking of. Maybe it is. He refused. He said, "I don't believe that the proposed offer by Musk comes close to the intrinsic value of Twitter given its growth prospects." Now, we've seen that the growth prospects, Twitter has issues. Twitter can't add users. It hasn't been able to do it like TikTok or like Facebook has been able to do it, or like Instagram has been able to do it. Right? It can't do it. So what is, he says it's intrinsic value. What is its value? What is its intrinsic value? I would suggest that the intrinsic value is the control of narrative. It's control of an important media space. And these billionaire peoples are scrambling for control of the few that are left, that aren't in the hands of billionaires already. It is the guy I was thinking of. So, being one of the largest and long-term shareholders of Twitter, Kingdom Holding Company, I reject this offer, he said. The Saudi businessman and member of the Saudi royal family emphasised. So he is a member of the royal family. That's what I thought. Al-Walid bin Talal had shared another tweet wherein he announced his acquisition. Okay, so there we go. So Elon Musk responded to the princeling. Interesting. Just two questions, if I may. How much of Twitter does the kingdom own, directly and indirectly? And what are the kingdom's views on journalistic freedom of speech? So, Elon, again, flying in off the top rope with a big freedom of speech elbow, because he's saying that's what he's saying. I don't know. I really don't know. So that's, but I don't I don't trust them. And if you do, you're fucking stupid. But this is the reason that I wanted to talk to you about this was whenever he announced this, people sort of went a wee bit fucking doolally with the annoyance of this guy in particular buying Twitter. And there were like another billionaire. Right? I mean, who do you think owns these properties already? So I'm reading a tweet here from, I don't know who the person is, Dara, an Irish person. Oh, Lower Gaeilge, student of Gaeilge. Okay. So I don't know who the person is. Said, I can't believe America would let a billionaire buy up a large media company. Here in Ireland, we limit Dennis O'Brien to only controlling 98 FM, News Talk, Spin 1038, Today FM, INM, including assets, The Herald, The Irish Independent, The Sunday Independent, The Sunday World. Right? So you don't have to go to America to find that sort of monopolization of media, and the fact that a billionaire, you know, it's neither here nor there really, but you know, obviously these are the only people that can afford these things. But here's another interesting tweet from Sagar Engedi. I think he's a right wing guy, but no, not the point. Hardly matters. Vijaya Gade, the top censorship advocate at Twitter, who famously gaslit the world on Joe Rogan's podcast and censored the Hunter Biden laptop story, is very upset about Elon Musk takeover. Twitter's top lawyer reassures staff. Twitter's top lawyer reassures staff and cries during meeting about Musk's takeover. Vijaya Gade, a key executive involved in decisions to remove former President Donald Trump and ban political advertising, expressed uncertainty about the future of the platform. Ban political advertising? See, that's interesting. That might be what Musk might bring in too. Interesting. So, the hand wringing and pearl clutching about Elon Musk, it doesn't ring true. It's not a thing, and anybody that's given off about it, if they go on, you know, say Musk is supposed to be a free speech. He's a free speech advocate. Well, we know he is. That's what he says. Is he going to when he gets to the thing? I don't know. Probably not. Because I don't believe him. But the issue is not the individual. The issue is that our media landscape, our public square, as social media is being referred to more and more these days, is being censored to the point of questioning its usefulness at all as a public square. And it's given the already wealthy greater access to the reins of power, which they have anyway. But this is when these new technologies come up, they'll try and take control of them, because that's what they do. It's straightforward. So, yeah, what was it? So again, I don't like Elon Musk, and I can hear that fucking thing is doing my head in. There's a little fizzing. So let me just get this, I have a little thing here for you I want to play for you, and I'm going to stick it up in a little video. Now, it's a translation of... Now, so Elon Musk, so we know that Elon Musk He's bought Twitter. He's bought. It's agreed to be bought. By the way, the reason that it's being agreed to be sold, there's a thing called, whenever you're on a board of directors of a publicly traded company, you have a thing called fiduciary responsibility, right? So your first and only priority, your first priority is to the shareholder. So whenever someone comes in with a massive offer, this, as I said, this elbow off the top rope of an offer, the board sort of can't turn it down. It's almost impossible for them to do that. So that's why this was able to go ahead against the will of a major shareholder like Prince, royal family guy. So that's why that was allowed to happen. It sort of confused me. I heard whenever he bought the 9% stake initially, and then he was offered a seat on the board, he refused it, and then that set the gossip rolling, because if you're on the board of the company, you can't organise a hostile takeover. So then he's off the board. He comes in with a massive offer, and the fiduciary responsibility of the board, they have to accept it, which is how hostile takeovers happen. I didn't know that. That was a thing that was new to me. I'd heard the words hostile takeover. I've watched Wall Street with Michael Douglas. I've seen it, and Charlie Sheen. I didn't know what a hostile... I'd heard the words, didn't know what it meant. That's what it means. That's how it happens. Demo says here, maybe buying Twitter is the easiest way to get a blue tick. Does he not have a blue tick? He's bound to. No. He's bound to. That can't be right. Huh. So, you're winding me up. He's bound to. So, I'm going to play this it's a little piece of video. You'll be able to see it if you're watching this. If you're watching on my Patreon, you'll be able to see it. But it's Evo Morales. Evo Morales is the president of Bolivia. So, why is the president of Bolivia connected to Elon Musk? Because this is one... Until this happened, I just thought Elon Musk was just a typical billionaire asshole. So I didn't really, care much. But... sadly not. But you don't get to be a billionaire by being a nice guy. Sure, we know that, okay? But so in 2020, a dude called Armani with a blue tick, the aforementioned blue tick. I wonder, is that the actual Armani? No, it couldn't be. It must be. It's a blue tick. You know what wasn't in the best interests of people? The US government organising a coup against Evo Morales in Bolivia so you could obtain lithium there. And Elon Musk replies, "We will coup whoever we want. Deal with it." So you go, why the fuck would Elon Musk want to coup Bolivia? Well, Evo Morales is going to explain it to you. Demo. There's a blue tick beside Elon Musk's name here. So you're winding me up. He's got a blue tick. So it's not that. So I'm going to play you this. Now, it is Evo Morales speaking in his native language, so I'm going to read it out to you, but it's going to be on the screen. The owner of the Tesla electric car manufacturer. This is on the 24th of July this year. Surely many of you who are informed, but for those of you who are not, it says, news headline, electric car company owner confesses to have participated in the coup. In a conversation on Twitter, the owner of the US electric car company Tesla, Elon Musk, go online to verify it right now, he says. He got ahead of himself, admitting having participated in the coup in Bolivia in November 2019. Oh, missed a bit. Let me just go back here. With the object of seizing its lithium. They ask, you know that wasn't in the best interests of the people? I've just read that again. The US government organising a coup against Evo Morales in Bolivia so you could obtain lithium there. The response, we will coup whoever we want, deal with it. He was arrogant so as to carry out coups for the natural resources, all for lithium. We can continue reading, sisters and brothers. The press note. The response of the magnate revealed that the US electric auto manufacturer financed the promoters of the coup in Bolivia. Among them, Carlos Mesa, Luis Fernando Camacho, Marco Pumuri, the journalists, the police, and the military. Sisters and brothers, if we are not convinced of our struggle, because our struggle is not for positions, our struggle is for a political project of liberation. It is for control of our natural resources. So, now, as we know, Elon Musk made a huge. Well, first of all, he's the son of a billionaire. He's the son of someone that owned an emerald mine, in South Africa. He's from South Africa. He speaks with a South African accent, sort of. Which, during apartheid era South Africa, so that makes him a lovely person, right? He then bought PayPal and made a fortune with it, and then he went on and bought Tesla. He didn't invent it; he bought it. Everyone, unfortunately, lives under the labours under the illusion that he bought, that he made Twitter, or he made Tesla. He didn't invent it. He didn't make anything. He bought it. That's not to say that he's a very successful businessman and made fortunes by himself, or for himself, not by himself, because we all know about the labour theory, don't we? Yes, we do. So there's no such thing as a self-made man. But I digress. So whether you know this or not, Bolivia is rich in minerals, a particular mineral, lithium. What is lithium used in? Batteries. What are batteries used in? Electric cars. So that's why Elon Musk showed particular interest in that country. And so there's a little interview here. I'm going to play it. If you give me a second. Oh, Jesus, did I load the fucking thing? I must have. Oh yeah, here it is. So it's an audio interview, but it's from oh shit, no I can't. Sorry, just give me a sec. I can't do it because I didn't download. Well, I rendered it as an MP3, but there's a little bit of Evo Morales talking in it. There's only a second or two. No, I can't play it because the whole point is him. But so I'll just tell you what he says, basically. I didn't render it as a video, and there's no translate on it. He basically explains that Bolivia is rich in wealth. In mineral wealth, particularly lithium. They were in the process of setting up an exchange between the European Union, China, and Russia to trade the lithium for their own economies, whatever else. And America was excluded from that. But it wasn't so much that it was excluded from it. It was going to be a part of it if it wanted to be a part of it. But what America wanted was to basically own it all, control it all, because they do consider the Monroe Doctrine, Central America, South America is their backyard, and they have every entitlement to tell all the countries in South America what to do and to take what they want from them. After all, they did start a fucking civil war and coup d'etats over bananas. That's true. The fruit company. So, Fife's, the fruit company, that all happened. So, which is a massive fucking story in and of itself. So there we go. I mean, I'll put the links in these show notes. The problem is, for me, is not the character. I don't particularly care about the man. He's a billionaire. He didn't earn his money being nice. He's a monster. Of that, there's no question. The fact that he bought Twitter is just another step towards it's the monopolization of media and the public square, such as it is. I don't know what the answer is. I think you hear a lot of people. You hear a lot of people say that they need to be nationalised. These massive platforms, which sounds like a good idea because once they get so powerful that they can influence an election, it's definitely time to take control of that shit. I think it's in your national self-interest to do that. I don't see what the argument is. But against it, well, I hear the argument against it, but I don't understand the argument against it. The only thing is, I don't know what that would look like. I've never heard an explanation that sounds reasonable to me, that sounds doable, what a nationalised Facebook or Twitter, YouTube, what does that mean? What does that look like? I just don't know. Does the government just take over the 51% shareholding in it? Say, right, this is ours now, and we're going to sit on the board and then you've got governments control. So I don't know. Would you want the Tories controlling YouTube? would you want the Tories controlling Facebook? Some say they already do. So we'll go to the YouTube here. So see, Demo says Musk sounds like a modern day J.R. Ewing. That's brilliant, actually. That's quite, yeah, he fucking does. But you know what? Listen, once you've got that sort of amount of money, it's all over, isn't it? You fucking get what you want, man. So there we go. I don't know. If you have any answers, solutions, let me know. I would love to hear them. So let's move on to this next one. DUP and Stockholm Syndrome. Right. So let's do this. We're going to bomb through. This is the last one because I've already obviously spent too much time on the Elon Musk thing, but I did tell you I had a lot to get through, and I even fucked a bit of it up. That little video, I'll maybe play. I'll you know what? I'll upload it. I'll do a little special on it. There, I'll do a wee thing from the patrons. There we go. So let me see if I can find something here. Yeah, here we go. So the DUP, the gift that keeps on giving, they are fucking unbelievable, aren't they? And it's kind of one of those things you go, you don't want to be talking about them all the time, but it's kind of hard not to because they're so fucking dumb. So, now, I don't know, right, I'll start with this. So, DUP officers, this is from the newsletter, DUP officers in South Down, representing 305 years party membership, dramatically resign. Jim Wells confirms move to TUV. This is just the other day. The entire officer team who represent 305 years membership of the party's South Down Association have announced they will instead be supporting the TUV's Harold McKee. Have you noticed anything about the TUV's election posters? They can't fucking smile. None of them smile. They do that thing with their face where they just raise the sides of their mouth. But it's not a real smile. So, Jim Wells, the former DUP MLA, who earlier this month quit the DUP and backed the TUV for Stormont and South Down, has confirmed in the newsletter that he has applied to join the TUV. He said that other members are either going to join the TUV or thinking about it. And since then they have. A statement from the Southdown Association of the DUP said all of the DUP Southdown officers resigned from the party and pledged their support to DUP candidate. The entire officers of the DUP is Southdown. That's a pretty big fuck. Southdown is a fairly good, strong DUP seat as well, isn't it? Is it? Or did they lose it to Alliance the last time? Oh, maybe they did in Westminster. Stephen Farry. I'm thinking Stephen Farry, or was that Northdown? Can't remember. Anyway, those resigning include the current chairman, vice chairman, secretary, 2 founding members of the DUP, and several former councillors. 2 founding members of the DUP. This is a very significant move and follows the recent decision of Jim Wells to publicly endorse McKee, and he has since announced that he's going to join. Jim Allister, TUV leader, Harold McKee, TUV Southdown candidate, attended a meeting in Rathfriland Orange Hall, hosted by Wells. Mr. Wells has made it clear that he would not support the DUP candidate, Diane Forsyth, who he believes was imposed on the local members, and has publicly stated that Harold McKee has the experience and views on social issues which make him the best candidate to represent Southdown. Chairman of the Southdown Association, Roland Wilson, said, "I've been a loyal member of the DUP for over 40 years, but I cannot, like many others of the party, I cannot under any circumstances support Diane Forsyth." They really don't fucking like Diane Forsyth. Not once in the entire selection process was I or any other member of the DUP Southdown Association consulted about this crucial decision. And every letter and email or text I sent was completely ignored. Now that just represents more DUP mismanagement. So this is the thing. Right, where is? Let me just get this wee article up here. The Prime Minister. This is from the BBC. The Prime Minister has not ruled. Now, you see, this is whenever you read these things, you must read the language that it's being written in. The Prime Minister has not ruled out a new law which would give UK ministers powers to override the Northern Ireland Protocol. The Prime Minister has not ruled out. That doesn't mean anything. The Financial Times has reported now. So if you're so let's just break that down. The Prime Minister has not ruled out a new law. That means that the Prime Minister is going. If you're going to go with what the DUP are saying, and they are saying this, that the Prime Minister is going to give UK ministers, including of which the DUP have 9, powers to override the Northern Ireland Protocol. Now, the Northern Ireland Protocol is the piece of legislation that is put in place in an international trade agreement signed between the United Kingdom and the European Union in order to keep goods and whatever there is going between EU and the UK. Didn't wanted certain checks put on the border, etc., and that's what they got. So if the Northern Ireland Protocol was the legislation put in place in order to protect the European the European market, let's not beat around the bush. This is about the European Union protecting itself. It happens to protect Ireland as well, but its primary point is to protect itself. And without the Northern Ireland Protocol, then you end up with import duties, extra import duties. You end up with so it's a fucking nightmare. It's not going to happen. And it also, more importantly, because Boris is being led by the nose by the ERG, the European Research Group, the hard right of the Tory party, this would put the Brexit that they want, that they got, at risk. There's no fucking way this is happening. There's absolutely no way this is happening. So I tweeted out, the DUP want new powers for Stormont that Johnson is dangling that will allow Stormont to override the Northern Ireland Protocol. See, I was wrong. It wasn't Stormont, it was UK ministers. So the DUP also won't take seats in Stormont, so it makes my tweet completely null and void. Makes me look like an idiot. I won't take that down. Elon Musk, if you buy Twitter, can you put the edit button in? I need to change that tweet. Thank you very much. Let's move on. So, the poll of polls, political poll of polls, and this is the last point on the DUP today, and this made me laugh. And there's the picture up on the screen, and I'll read it. You can hear that fizzing, right, in the microphone. It's annoying the fuck out of me, and I don't know what it is. Never had it before. I hope it's not my new mic. I would be very annoyed. Northern Ireland will hold its assembly election on May the 5th. Nationalist Party Sinn Féin, which wants Ireland reunified and supports post-Brexit trade protocol, is now polling 7 percentage points ahead of the Loyalist Democratic Unionist Party, which is against the trade deal. That made me laugh so much. Unbelievable. So, sadly, the DUP and the TV, it has to be said, are just playing the sectarian card and said, if you don't want a Sinn Féin First Minister, you have to vote for us. That's not a fucking anything to vote for. Not in 2022. Not today. I get it. I understand why you don't want to not be the First Minister, but to come out with guff like that is fucking ridiculous. So, in the poll of polls there, the DUP are polling at 19%, Sinn Féin 26, UUP 13, SDLP 11, Alliance 16, TUV 7. That's massive. That's a massive jump. Obviously, what the DUP have lost, the TUV have gained most. Alliance have got a bit as well. Greens 3, People Before Profit 2, N2 1%, which is a big jump for them. So that's, but you know, there you go. If you don't give the people what they want, hopefully they'll punish you at the polls, and that's what I think needs to happen. I do think it's not like unionist voters don't have people to vote for. You can vote for the UUP, Alliance, if you wanted to go there, TUV even. The point is that they don't want the DUP are sitting closest to Sinn Féin. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I really don't know. I know what I want to happen. I want to see the DUP fucking wiped off the face of the earth because I think they're vile. But not sure. So there we go. That's the pod. You'll get this in your Patreon tomorrow if you're signed up to it. If you're not signed up to it, why not? You should be signed up to it. Sign up to my Patreon. Link in the thing. Or go over to Patreon. Just search politics, culture and some other shit. Listen guys, thanks for joining me. I'm going to have to bounce because there's a football match happening. Final comment to the boys on the Twitter. Morris McElwain, hope you're well, friend. Oh, you got COVID again? Oh, for fuck's sake. And well, give regards to the family. Same to you, my friend. Demo, Wee Jeffrey is using smaller and smaller paintbrushes to paint the DUP into ever decreasing corner. Completely he is. So, just on that, I've got an interview coming up with, as I said, with Liam Mackle. So he's our local Sinn Féin, one of our local Sinn Féin candidates. And also going to talk to the guy, I won't tell you yet because we're still talking with each other and I don't want to. I need to get it's a very sensitive subject. We're going to talk about the collusion thing. So that's going to happen real soon. And also, I told you I was going to be talking to a political advisor. I've decided that what I'm going to do, I've reached out to him as a friend of mine, and I'm hoping that what we can do together is do the results live. Do you know what I mean? So do the results of the election live. So we need to get that set up. So I don't know if that's going to be possible. What way they're going to come in? Are they going to come in at night, just on the night, or are we going to have to go to bed? Or will we just sit for an hour and a half, have a beer, and just talk about it live on the YouTube? So yeah, so that would be kind of cool, I think. So, but I'll let you know about that. So listen, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining me. Thomas Clark, DUP meant I didn't get to see the Sex Pistols in Maysfield. Oh, for fuck's sake. Jeez, that was a fucking 100 years ago, dude. Yeah, you did that a lot. Anyway, thanks a million. Good night. Go and watch football. Cheery bye.